The Suzuki DR200, 2015 vintage. Although it doesn't really matter which year you get, they're all about the same. For a little less than $5,000 US, you get an air-cooled carbureted 200cc single that weighs 278 pounds, has a 5-speed transmission, and generally speaking is not fast. However, with a 21 and 18-inch wheel combo, 10 inches of ground clearance, and a 33.5-inch seat height, it is a very accessible motorcycle to new riders that is surprisingly trail capable. In fact, back in '86, it was advertised as a competitive on and off-road motorcycle. Of course, by today's standards, competitive doesn't even begin to describe the DR200, but it is still more trail capable than you might think, while being accessible, reliable, and very, very simple. Today, the DR200 doesn't really come set up for the trail stock. It comes with trail wing tires that are mediocre at best on and off-road. They kind of limit your lean angle on the pavement, and once you get off-road they do okay, although once you get onto loose sand like you have here, the front end tends to wash out with absolutely no warning and you go over pretty hard. If you just watch here, you'll get to see that happen to me. Yeah. If you like to ride off-road with your DR200 on the stock tires, that's probably going to happen a lot, especially if you ride on sand. Thankfully, it's not too heavy a bike to pick back up. Here I am about a year later, and now we have some modifications done. Straight away, you can see the Pro Taper handlebar. This is a 7/8 bar, and it isn't quite as good as I would have gotten with the fat bar kit, like I have on my DR650. But it still does increase your control over the motorcycle, and it's probably the first modification I would recommend with any dual sport motorcycle. I do think a lot of riders might tell you to get tires instead of a handlebar first. However, I think that in the case of the DR200, the handlebar is a particular weak spot, and the tires, again, while they're not the best, they're good enough to learn on until you decide whether you want to get a trail or road bias tire. I ended up going with Maxxis 600.6s, here they are. They're a softer compound, which makes them stickier on the street, and as you saw, they had nice big chunks, which makes them a lot better off-road. The combination of the handlebar and the sticky tires that enable bigger leans on road and off-road, you can turn in a lot faster. You just have a lot more bite from the rear tire and from the front when you're turning. You're no longer washing out on the sand like that. In fact, when they were new, it was almost a little bit too sticky. I wasn't able to get the rear end to kick out due to the DR200's low power. But eventually they wore in, and I have so much fun on the DR200, both on the street and on the trail. In the background, you might be able to hear the more throaty exhaust note, and that is the FMF can for the DR200. I would recommend this modification, although don't expect it to turn it into any sort of drag strip monster. It is still a 200cc bike, and with off-road tires, it's not really going to increase any highway speed for you anyway. However, it will give you a little bit of down-low grunt, and it just makes it more fun to ride, more fun to get on the gas, just because the sound wakes up your inner hooligan. I think that altogether, when you have these three modifications, the exhaust, the tires, and the handlebars, it kind of transforms the DR from a bit of a old lady trail bike / commuter into something that's a lot of fun. I mean, it's still not fast, don't get me wrong, but you can really turn in, you can drag your pegs on the street, you can have a lot of fun. It's still easy to pick up when you knock it over. Here you can see on the sand, I'm riding around with a lot more confidence, a lot more throttle at higher speeds, turning a lot better. It kind of makes me wonder why people go out and buy those 125cc bikes as a first bike to learn on, or as a nice light bike to play on in parking lots and whatnot when your big bike's in the shop. And of course, I couldn't make that comment without an honorable mention for the TW200, another old school, fun dual sport bike. Thanks for watching.